we would be going over to the next speaker. Mr. Willem Vermeer is our next speaker. Mr. Willem, good afternoon. Mr. Willem is a renowned marketing professional from the Netherlands with over 35 years of experience. And he has also contributed to the growth of several international and national brands in the world. He will be speaking to us on the topic, creating an enabling business environment in the oil and gas free zone, a panacea for attracting foreign direct investment. So over to you, Mr. Willem. Good afternoon, and the floor is yours.
It's an honor for me to be in this place today, even if it's online. And Mr. Petto Toomey, good to see you again and meet you again. It has been quite a while, a long time we met. Okay, I was requested, as Doctor said, about this topic, but I took the freedom to change it a little bit into a look at free trade zones in general, and looking at the status of the country of Nigeria. For those who don't know me, I'm here I'm from the Holland, but I'm living in Nigeria already more than 20 years. And I love this country. I'm passionate about this country. And I'm also very critical on this country. So I've seen the former two persons also being emotional, and I think I have the same emotions on certain issues in this country. I'm of the opinion that free trade zones has a better chance of being successful in case of a mix of production companies, service companies, etc., inclusive oil and gas in the operating zones. But first of all, I want to look at the status of the country as a whole. As the former speaker, or one of the former speakers, was referring to, the latest report by the World Bank Group shows that Nigeria is becoming more attractive as an investment destination. In the 2020 report of the ease of doing business worldwide, the Bank Group ranks Nigeria on place number 131 of 119 countries. A significant improvement is a very important aspect of the business climate in the country, with the nation moving 15 places up from 146 to 131. A small significant detail, the report is that Nigeria among 10 most improved countries on the ranking, and one of the 2 in Africa to be categorized. The work leading to success story took place in the nation's ministries, departments and agencies, fired by an executive order of the president in 2017 to drive efficiency, transparency, lower cost, and engender other factors that conduce to supportive business environment. The overall goal is to deliver easy and profitable investor experience. And that last one is, of course, one of the main targets if you want to develop any business in this country, and especially in free trade zones. So we could say there is some progress. To that, we have also the African free trade. According to an article of the World Economic Forum, the African Union has launched an operational phase of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will be the world's largest free trade area by number of countries once it is fully up and running. So it will be important for Nigeria, in my opinion, to try to integrate its trade in general, inclusive the free trade zone plans, in this union. And that is, of course, a longer term objective, but I think very essential for developing the country and for Africa as a whole. It will also give opportunities to increase Nigerians' exports of goods and services within the African continent. Intra-Africa trade has been historically low. Intra-African exports in 2017 was 16.6% compared with Europe 59%, no, Europe 68% and Asia 59%. So you see in those continents that inter-trade is from the utmost importance. But Nigeria needs to develop its opportunities. I just give you one example. For example, agriculture. Nigeria lost a lot of business, losing the palm oil market, cocoa, cotton, etc., to mention a few. This country has immense areas of rich soil, and almost every type of vegetable and fruits will grow here. Nigeria is the biggest producer of cassava, but only 25% in the world, but only exports about 25%. I asked myself, how is it possible that up till now, agriculture is not pushed to a greater height? It's just a matter of political will. Political will has been mentioned before, and I think that is one of the key elements in this country. It's just a matter of political will and educate young people, and I know plenty of them who wants to do agriculture, and support them with a policy to start business and to develop the agriculture industry as a whole. To put it in perspective, I'm not the one who is always saying that my country does everything well, but fortunately they do a lot of things right. In my country, the Netherlands, it is one of the smallest in the world with 19.7 million people and a space of probably about 4 to 5 times the state of Lagos. We are number 2 producer for agricultural products, behind the United States, Spain, France, Germany. No, it's this small country of the Netherlands. Apart from that, we also have the biggest seaport in Europe. Because as in Nigeria, we have one of the biggest deltas with rivers going into Europe for transport products from ports inside the continent of Europe. To give you another perspective, Nigeria's top #1 export value in 2019 was mineral fuels, including oil. And if I'm not mistaken, that value was $46.7 billion of total exports, 87.1%. So that already tells you that we are too depending on oil, and everybody knows. To put it in perspective, just one issue, the Netherlands value in United States dollars only on agricultural products, not even to talk about flowers, about knowledge about, we have one of the biggest and perfect agricultural universities in the world. And if you are in agriculture, you know that's in Wageningen. So we have an 80 billion United States dollar on only agriculture products, 80 billion. So in the meantime, I go one step further. Nigeria was concentrating mainly on exporting of crude oil and not even able to run local refineries. The number 7 or 8 biggest producing country in the world. I am wondering. Now, what does this all have to do with free trade zones? Are you still there? Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Well, we are talking about trade, right?
Absolutely.
Any country who wants to develop an economy must have a diverse spectrum of local production. What is needed? And local production gives jobs. Local production gives jobs and growth in the economy. It gives jobs, it generates money, people can spend money, and that is the only way. When people can spend money, consumers, the economy will grow. So, what is needed? In a nutshell, proper education for all, one of the most important. Develop industries, generate jobs and increase the middle class. Pay proper salaries. And sorry to say, decrease the salaries of those governors and all these people who are so-called in charge of this country. It's embarrassing. A governor has a higher salary than the president of the United States. What are we talking about? I don't know. So get rid of corruption. Develop health insurance for all. Health insurance for all. That people are not dying because they don't have money to go to the doctor. And the doctors here don't help them because they don't give them money. And the doctor has had an oath when he became doctor to help everybody who is in need for a doctor. It's another disgrace. Develop health insurance for all. Increase spending power of the masses. Start innovative industries like IT. Or maybe I want to be an environmental specialist in Africa as a country of Nigeria. Take the lead there. Solve the infrastructures and electricity issues. That's maybe one of the last, but is one of the most important things. Make the country safe and secure for foreign investors, because that's what we need here. And then free trade zones only are useful in case of all of the above has been related to, has been developed in a certain level. Now, imagine we have, like the Netherlands, we have in Nigeria, like the Netherlands, a delta area. We have plenty coast. In Africa, you have a few rivers transport goods to many places. I mean, there are rivers. Maybe they should have been cleaned up. You can put boats inside. You can transport from the coast inside Nigeria, first of all, and even further than that. Like we do to the Rhine, we go to Germany, we go to Switzerland, anywhere. And that's a whole separate industry even, transport on water. So, as I stated, it's not only for oil products what we should do in this country. Even more important is more important to do production of other products, because that will also solve the problem that in a few years from now, there is no oil again. And then this country will collapse. So it's much more, but there is a lot of work to do to get it right. And the former speaker was also telling us about to get it right. And I think that is one of the main things. How can we get things right in this country? Okay, last but not least, Nigeria has, as I have checked, and correct me if I'm wrong, 17 free trade zones. 17. Now, I will not call them, everybody probably knows where they are. My question is actually, how many of these zones are making profit? Because if we want to do business, we need to have back our investment in all the infrastructures we have up to now, but are we making profit? Years ago, I went to Tinapa. I was impressed. Really, it was beautiful. But 90%, and it was big and it was well built. It looked good. But 90% of the buildings were empty. Just one example. And a bit later, I heard that they did not even have a free trade zone license at that moment, or that customs did not treat it like a free trade zone as it was originally planned. I'm almost at the end. How can we build a free trade zone without having the proper arrangements? I end with a quote of Ray O'Driscoll of the Shannon Group in Dubai. Companies are attracted to free trade zones and multiple reasons for not just one. The successful zones will be the ones that innovate with the business environment that they provide. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Williams, just staying with you. You spoke a lot about, Africa's trading within itself, especially Nigeria, looking at our low trading within the African continent. And I do remember that sometime in July 2019, Nigeria signed the intra-African trade with the African Union in Niger, which was a significant, trade document for Nigeria to be part of the 44 already signed countries within that community of nations. But yet, we still see 16% of international trade by African countries, according to the African Development Bank, which also includes Nigeria. So what do you think really could be the cause of this? And how can Nigeria begin to look, inwards to amend perhaps its engagement and how it trades with other African countries to increase, our marketability?
Yeah, you have to ask, why is it so low? There could be all kinds of elements. Are we having the right quality of product? Are we having the right volumes to export? Or do we need everything for our own country? Are the price levels competitive with other countries? And you can continue and continue with that. I believe that doing business in Nigeria is one of the toughest things any company, international company as well as local companies, are suffering from. It is the energy sector which doesn't work. Electricity is not there. Cost of power, let's say to run a factory, is immense. And at the same time, we have, relatively speaking, cheap labor here. So why should we be happy to buy Chinese products? Because they are cheap. Most of the time, the quality is not that good, although there are quality products from China, of course. But generally speaking, I believe Nigerians are buying because it's cheap, because they don't have a high spendable income. They have to manage every month of 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 naira per week, per month. Then you have to pay a year up front for a small parlor, this bedroom. So these are all aspects. So the background is Nigeria needs to develop its country for its people. For its people. We need persons here in the government and also in industries, and there are plenty in industries that think like that, which say, I'm not doing it for myself. There's only one reason why a politician has been chosen to be a politician by people. He has only one thing to do. And the one thing is to take care of the constituencies he was voted by. This is a huge problem in Nigeria.
Then again, you would also want to ask, what is the role of the citizens in, calling for one, transparency and leadership. How can the masses also be part of this? Because you said something quite clear. You said educate the middle class, and you also said increase spending power of the masses.
Yeah.
And how do we begin to increase the awareness for this, for the masses? Because again, it's about the citizens at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think the number of persons qualified for management jobs is relatively speaking very small in Nigeria. 90% of the people in this country live in poverty or are struggling and hustling every day. They sometimes don't send their children to school because there is no money and no income. So the children are hawking on the street to help their parents to get some money. So education is the main thing. There should be education, high quality, not only in private schools, because nobody, normal, average people can afford themselves to send the children to the schools. And sorry to say, the quality level of the public schools, well, let me put it lightly, is not so good. So it begins there. It's a long-term thing. Let me tell you something. I agree, but I believe that many Nigerians, and I know many, I talk to Nigerians. I have plenty of friends in years. I talk to strangers. If I'm sitting somewhere, I say, how are you doing? What is happening? And they all have the same problem. They cannot get a job. If there's a job, they don't pay them, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So why is there a difference today between the development in the last 30 years between Vietnam and Nigeria? 30 years ago, about, the level of development in Vietnam was the same as in Nigeria. 20 years later, they had a huge economic development. Now, 10 years later, Nigeria is still on the same level as it was before, except from a few progress what they made. So at the end of the day, like the former speaker was saying, I believe, the government has to play an important role, a progressive role in doing all those things, pushing all those things together with the companies, with foreign investors, and whatever you want to do. That's my answer.
All right, thank you so much. And I think that all of those principles within the trading environment for Nigeria should also be applied when looking at the Nigerians' inclusion, or rather the oil and gas free zone area as well. Thank you so much, Mr. William Vermeer.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for also loving Nigeria. I think that's very coming from you. All right. So we have heard from Mr. William.